one of those days. One of those days, Maxine Rose.
I should have known when I got out of bed on the wrong side that it was going to be one of those days. You know the ones that I'm talking about. We all have them. One of those days when anything can happen, and usually does. Yep, one of those days. It all began with the crash. I was sitting on the loo when the crash happened. It was unexpected. It was loud. The noise of the glass shattering resonated throughout the whole house. First, there was the sound of the initial impact, crashing, and then it just continued, smashing, gradually growing quieter, less intense, but nevertheless ongoing until every fragment of glass had shattered, re-shattered, and could shatter no more. The damage was catastrophic, the impact fatal, the fallout far-reaching. There was no resurrecting that vase. Grandma's heirloom. It was now in more pieces than she was. I would be finding splinters and shards of glass for days, weeks, months, even years. Next came the tsunami. It too was unexpected, although in hindsight probably could have been predicted. After all, a tsunami usually follows from an event of magnitude. And it was loud. The noise of the fluid splashing on the tiles reached the dog and I in the yard. First, there was the sound of the initial impact sploshing, and then it just continued, splatting, the volume subsiding, gradually diminishing, growing less, but nevertheless ongoing until all the contents of his stomach had been expelled. The damage was catastrophic, the expulsion extensive, the fallout far-reaching. Every one of the 36 Easter eggs accounted for in the brown pools obscuring the bathroom floor, plastering the ceramic wall tiles, and coating the child. It really was one of those days. However, I wouldn't be cleaning that mess up for days, weeks, months, or years. Nope. Remember the dog? Yep. You've got it. It would seem that in times of catastrophic events, his little legs and his not-so-little tongue can move at the speed of lightning. Of course, I had to pick him up for the high-up, hard-to-reach spots, and the child, who wasn't too impressed. But we were in a drought. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Waste not, want not, I say. And finally, there was the lottery ticket. Seriously, who in their right mind buys a lottery ticket on one of those days? But things happen in threes, right? A crash, tsunami, all life-changing events. Could it truly be one of those days? When the lottery numbers were called, I was emptying the cat litter. It was unexpected. And it was loud. The noise of me shouting when that final number was drawn could be heard on the moon. First, there was the sound of the cat solids being dropped, followed by the organic litter as it cascaded across the laundry floor. However, both of them were drowned out by my screeching and yelling and shouting, "Yes! Yes! Yes!" And the shouting just continued. The volume did not subside, nor did it gradually diminish or grow less. It went on and on and on. The damage was irrelevant. The impact? Indescribable. The fallout? Far-reaching. Finally, my investment into the lottery was no longer a contribution to someone else's retirement fund. Well, the dogs in the kennel, the kids enrolled in boarding school, and I'm off on an around-the-world trip in my private jet. Can't be too careful with COVID, you know. Kirsty, don't put me on the Toastmasters agendas for a few days, weeks, months, maybe years. Because you know what? It really was one of those days.